mic in Seattle go on before me.
Yeah.
Okay, because they had me closed that one mic. They're like, oh, since you're new in town, we'll have you closed. Um, they all sucked. I was
Really?
the only female.
Wow.
No women. 30 straight white dudes and me.
No.
So when I did my thing, whatever, and then when the guy came up and he's like, oh, I got somebody coming this weekend. But it was funny because there was one other girl there and I didn't even catch her set, which I didn't even realize she did one. Like sometimes I just like zone out or I was going over what I was going to say.
Yeah.
But afterwards she came up and she was like, I bet you the guy that owns this club, he's here tonight and he asks you to feature because you were so funny. And I'm like, I'm really not that funny, but everybody else wasn't.
You're amazing.
You know what I mean? No, but but also I do think it's a lot of like, they're so sick of hearing each other that something new.
Sure, right. So did you end up doing it?
No, I had to leave. We were only there I'm like, no, I was like leaving the next day.
Oh,
because,
okay.
right. Because we did like most of our time was in Portland. And this was when I was only in Seattle for like 2 days before we flew out. We hung out in Portland and did like the scenery and the beach, like the forest, like it was gorgeous. I have to say, I'm glad I did it. We stayed in this little cabin on the water. Like it was amazing. And and it's the West Coast. I had never really seen like those beaches are crazy. Those huge rocks out there. It's just way different.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a lot of time, but yeah. So I don't know. It's like same thing when I went to Florida and I was there in the winters for the last like 3 years and I did comedy there and they were all like, I got on so many shows. I even got a college gig off of doing stand-up.
Wow. No shit.
While I was there, you know what I mean? People were like, oh, I have a show next week. You want? And everybody was hitting me up to do shows with them, just like the little bar shows and things, but it was a lot of fun. And, but I think again, it was like, I was new, you know what I mean? Like they were looking for something different to do the shows. Because it's kind of the same.
So I lived in New York for a little while and then I lived in Nashville for 4 years. And I really think that people, and it's even more noticeable to me, like people in upstate New York specifically, like we have a weird thing, like we're quick, you know what I mean? Like there's something about, when I've gone different places where I'm like, okay, we have a different type of humor. It's kind of unique. Like
it's definitely different than Florida. I noticed a lot of the comics they were older because I don't know if there's a lot of older people at some of the mics, but it was definitely way more like basic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That I did notice. Also, the best part of South Florida was they're not politically correct at all.
Oh yeah.
So everything I did, like my porn jokes, all of that, like it fucking killed. Like there was nobody.
Your strip club ones.
Yeah, like there's, that's
why we relate is because my dad used to like take me to some titty bar and all the girls knew me, right? It's in Webster off Empire down by the lake. And now
it used to be the bikini bar, wasn't it?
Yes. And I used to go there with him. Years at 11 a.m. and all the girls knew me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting, when you grow up with, for me, it was, this is the 70s. Mm-hmm. And I went to a Catholic school and I lived in a very Irish Catholic neighborhood. Mm-hmm. A lot of it, the parents would say, you're not allowed to play with her because of who her father is. Like, they were so judgy about that.
Yeah.
But I have to think back and I'm like, that's hardcore. Having a father who owns strip clubs and
oh yeah, totally.
To those people, I probably, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I don't know, it was very I was judged a lot about, because of what they did. But then I have to, and I'm like, oh, can you believe how they think? And I'm like, Jesus, I was in an Irish Catholic neighborhood. I went to a Catholic school, and my father was like a fucking criminal in a strip club. So of course they were judging me. You know what I mean?
I love that. That's like that's very Sopranos of you. I love that.
But yeah, but I think, it's just weird. It's just so weird because I believe like a lot of people, when they meet my family back, even like in the 80s, would have like a perception of what they were going to be like this creepy old like dude, dirty old man. Right. And we're nothing. It's very business.
Well, good for you, because like my dad is probably smoking crack behind an Arby's somewhere. So,
Yeah.
What's so funny is actually, so my biological father does live here still, and one of my friends, we fuck with each other like really bad. Me and one of my girlfriends were always messing with each other, and she texted me one night and she goes, I'm at blah 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 bar, and she goes, and I'm talking to your dad, and I'm like, okay, here we go, whatever. And she goes, no, like he mentioned you and that you like lived in Nashville, and that he is best friends with Bret Michaels, and also that he banged Carmen Electra. I was like, what?
Is that true?
No.
Oh! No, he had me in a bar at 11 a.m.
He also has his belly.
When I was 9. No, he didn't.
Look who's here to join us.
Hey.
It's Kevin.
Oh.
He smells good.
No, I walked in the door and it smelled terrible in here. The bunny infiltrated the entire house. It stinks.
Oh, that's right. You've got a bunny. I saw that. What's with everybody getting bunnies?
Because
apparently there's only one place to buy them.
Really?
At
Country Max in Webster.
Yeah, they sell them at pet stores for some reason.
Does it really smell like a bunny?
It stunk when I walked in, yeah.
Does the bunny have free range?
No. We actually keep them in the sunroom.
We just today, but yeah, they shit so constantly that you can't leave.
Well, do you have a dog?
No.
Oh, because bunny shit is ice cream to dogs. And how I know this, I've got a yard full of like wild bunnies. And every morning when I let my dogs out, so that cat's not eating bunny shit.
No.
I don't know. He might. He seems
all right. Well, if you need to borrow like my dog to clean up, like he'll just follow the bunny around and eat that shit like it's candy.
That'd be great.
They love it.
Over.
My girlfriend was screaming at me, get the dog, he's eating all the bunny shit. So I Googled it and I'm like, it says it's like ice cream and it's perfectly fine. So Kevin, I'm going to Nashville the end of October. Not Nashville, Austin.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm gonna get the update on where I need to go while I'm there and what I need to eat. Because my life revolves around where I'm gonna fucking eat. Okay?
We were trying queso at every single place we went to see whose was the best. And one night we were out late and we ended up going to this restaurant and it was like packed with people. And we got a full-blown meal with drinks, the whole shebang, and it came to $22.
Yeah, she had like multiple margaritas, queso, 2 entrees, and then like guac. And it was like, it made no sense. I feel like they gave us someone else's bill.
But is the cost of living there like noticeably cheaper to you?
No.
Yeah, it's fucking insane there.
No, it's so expensive.
Oh.
Like our house is like 1,000 square feet in the neighborhood we stayed in would be like 1.2 million.
Yeah, like at the Airbnb we stayed at, he was like Zillowing the houses around us, and all of them were in the millions, and they were just like average, like
the house across the street from us was like a shack. It was like a nice house, but it was like 800 square feet, like small, like the size of a small apartment, like 1 bedroom.
That's like LA shit.
Yeah, and it was a $900,000 house, 800 square feet.
That is always like so crazy to me when I go places like Boston, like this little dump somewhere will be like $1 million, and I'm like, what do these fucking people do for a living?
What do they do?
Like all of them.
I mean, you'd have to work at Home Depot, dude, and still get a mortgage for a $900,000 house.
Mm-hmm.
Like those people got to live somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always think. I'm like, okay, there can only be so many doctors. You know what I mean?
No, it's
How
just,
are there that many jobs that accumulate?
I just think that almost their entire paycheck goes to their home, seriously, to their mortgage. Like, it's crazy.
Well, yeah, a lot of them are fucking
because
budgeting to maintain such a big house.
Yeah, I mean, that is always like so crazy to me. So is it because Austin is so up and coming, or is it just
I think that did drive the prices up a lot, but it's also the housing market in every city is like that right now.
Yeah. Did you notice a lot of homeless people?
Huh?
Did you notice a lot of homeless?
So many.
Yeah, do you remember the tent city we had?
Yeah.
The bridge where the skate park is now?
Yeah.
It was like that, but 10 times bigger under every single bridge in the whole city.
For miles. That's how Seattle and Portland, like we were on the expressway. Like I remember like first coming in to Seattle because we drove from Portland, and Tori, both sides, just tent city for miles. I mean, I was like, there was homeless people living like legit built houses out of wood on the sidewalks in front of like
wood.
Literally, like they hammered shit and built places on the sidewalks in the city in front of like top like hotels. You know what I mean? Like it was insane. And I talked to so many people that live there that were like, the cost of living here since Amazon has it's just exploded because Jeff Bezos hires like all those engineers make six figures there, and he's bringing them all in, right? So he's got 150,000 like high paying jobs there that brings the housing market up and pushed all those people are all homeless.
Well, when we were in Austin.
Oh, wait. So a lot of those homeless people are people that were living, like normal people that were living there before the house?
I mean, I think a lot of them are drug addicts or whatnot, but there's way too many that I think ended up like we're probably just getting by.
After Amazon came to town.
When we were in Austin, a homeless man kissed me on my shoulder and then offered to sell me drugs, and that kind of gave me a little tingle. He was right next to me. And
you're still killing it.
I didn't see.
I don't care.
Well, he kissed me on my shoulder.
Wait, what? Where was that?
When we were by the scooters outside, when we were scootering around.
He was too busy. He wasn't paying.
He was busy.
Kevin's like, you know what? You just made my life easier today. Tell her she's beautiful. Kiss her on the shoulder. You saved me a lot of time. Make her feel pretty, dude, that I can just ride this scooter and be left alone, okay?
That's exactly right.
I think she made that up, by the way, as well.
I definitely didn't. I felt lips to shoulder. Shoulder. Yeah.
So, Kevin, I gave you a really big compliment. I was telling her that I had seen you do stand-up, but the first time I had ever saw Tori is you guys came into Record Archive. There was a little show back there, and you came walking in holding hands with her, and I thought, how the fuck did he get her?
Is that the one that Gersland did?
Yeah. I was like, Kevin, how did Kevin get that hot girl? God damn.
Tricked her.
Yeah.
He's got a nice little tuchus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it was, just the butt. She was like, it wasn't for your butt, it's a deal breaker.
So, Kevin, does anybody else in your family besides your dad do comedy, or is it just pretty much you and your dad?
Yeah, it's just my dad, and he didn't start till he was like 58, so.
Yeah. Like, your dad's funny as hell. Your dad, I mean, your dad cracks me up. So
yeah, he's got some good ones. He wanted to do it for like fucking 49 years. And then finally he was like he was like in his late 50s, and he was like, well, I might as well start now before I die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know, your dad's definitely good. So are both your parents deaf?
My mom's hard of hearing, but my dad's like completely deaf. So like you could have a conversation with my mom and she would understand what you were saying as long as you're hammered.
Yeah.
But she can understand people. Like she works at Home Depot and she cashes people out and like can most of the time understand what people are saying. But my dad can't hear a single word.
Right. So how many are there of you? How many kids?
Just me and my sister.
You and your sister?
Hearing aid on, but the only purpose he can't distinguish words, but the only purpose is like if a car was coming up behind him, like he could hear